Hello and welcome. The reason I sound very quiet is because I am recording this at approximately 1 a.m., so please forgive me. But let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about the new update that came out on PayDay 3 and give up my overall opinion, and as well as a review of the DLC that has released. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. Let's notify a few changes that has came to the game. Grenadiers are much more threatening and they will throw grenades much more commonly, and when they're close to you they will perform a underhand throw. Normally when you're up against a grenadier and you're at close range, they normally toss a overhand throw, which doesn't really particularly make sense and takes a longer time to throw it, but now they will be able to throw them much more easily and more frequent and perform a underhand throw. Another thing that they added is that cloakers will now make that radio static noise from PayDay 2, allowing you to easily find out where a cloaker is before they come and charge at you completely. Another thing that they have also changed is a lot of the skills have been completely reworked or have been nerfed entirely. Here are the two new skills that they have added to the game. Headhunter is completely useless because ammo funnel exists, and the new Gunslinger skill is very interesting and I think might actually have some bit of synergy with weapons that have a lot of switching speed. Now, let's talk about a few of the skills that have been reworked. Triage has been completely nerfed to where instead of providing a 15% bonus health for each buff you have, it now only provides a 15 health per each buff you have. Another thing that they have changed is first aid kits will no longer heal you for 25% HP. They will now only heal you for 25 health. Medic bags remain unchanged, so don't worry about that one. Another thing that they have also changed is field surgery, or at least I think it was called field surgery, to where it is instead of providing a 10% additional healing to your max health when using medic bag and give another additional down, right now it actually only allows you to carry another additional consumables in your pocket. What are consumables? Well, consumables are just basically being able to pick up a first aid kit or a armor repair kit and use them for later on. It's just basically grabbing them and pretty much just putting them in your pocket. You can only grab first aid kits and as well as armor repair kits. You cannot grab the little ammo pouches that exist in a few lockers. But yeah, is this really good? Is this any good? Yes, it is. It is absolutely overpowered and very good. The armor repair kit is extremely good in PayDay 3, so being able to carry some in your pocket is very good. You can either whip it out and drop it for your teammate, or you can instantly use it without having any sort of delay or any animations. It instantly activates as soon as you tap the button, which is a very good feature. Another thing that they have also added is daily challenges. These can range from performing lockpicks, getting a specific buff for a specific amount of time, getting a loot, deploying medic bags, and yada yada yada. The amount of C-stacks that they gave out is incredibly good, but they also provide you a small bit of XP to help you level up much more faster, which is a pretty good addition to the game. Now let's get into the free features that they have added. Here are the 3 new masks. They have also added a new secondary to the game, a machine pistol. This pistol is actually very good. It has a really good rate of fire, solid ammo capacity, solid ammo pickup rate, and very fast reload speed. The only downside with this is the low penetration, but that's pretty much expected. Against lightweight units, it easily shreds through them very quickly, but it does struggle against heavy units, but that's sort of expected. So in overall, it's a free weapon, but even if it was paid, I'd say it's a very good weapon that will help you a lot. Our very first machine pistol, or our very first auto weapon for the secondary category, which is a pretty good introduction. It's a very good weapon and I do see some uses here and there, especially when you use it with a human shield. Yes, you can use a machine pistol with a human shield and it's a very interesting feature. Now let's talk about the Diamond District. The Diamond District is a very good heist and I feel like it's one of the best free DLC heist that has released. Well, the only one that has came out was Turbot Station and Cook-Off, now that I think about it. Whoopsie daisy. Anyway, what do I think of the Diamond District? At first, it's very confusing, but once you get a good hang of the layout, it is a genuinely fun heist for both loud and stealth. I'm not really going to get too much into detail when it comes to objectives onto both of the heists because I feel like it's better for you to actually experience it yourself. But if I have to sort of summarize it, it's basically Dirty Ice, but separated. There's like multiple stores that you have to look around with, and some of them have rare loot, and some of them have a scanner because some of them are sort of dirty and you need to clean them out. But the heist is very fun on Overkill, and as well as solo and for co-op gameplay. But it is definitely way more intense and more hard on Overkill, on solo gameplay, because you're having to deal with every single store on your own. There's no friends that can come and help, if you're playing this on solo of course, but it's a very fun heist for solo gameplay, and it's actually very intense. And it's a very good heist. It's a solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion, and the music track that plays in the background is also very good. Now let's get into the paid DLC. I could be missing something about the free content, but I can't really think of anything else. Oh yeah, right, they have also added a new tool to the game as named the Trip Laser. The Trip Laser just emits a laser that is 3 meters long, and unlike in PayDay 2 where it blows up, it actually only marks enemies. There's no limit to how many enemies it can mark because you can pretty much place it on any surface you can think of. And this is a very good tool for when on close range maps like Dirty Ice and as well as Diamond District and Touch the Sky and so on and so on. And if you combine the laser trip with the strategic skill line, you're looking at something that gives you constant damage reduction, damage increase, and dodging chance. Another thing I forgot to mention is that they also buffed the motion sensor to now where it now is able to scan upwards to 30 enemies instead of 15 before it completely deactivates itself. So there is some bit of uses and some bit of differences here and there. Motion sensor is perfect for large open maps and to find out where enemies spawn. Laser trips are more focused on tight corridors, so they do have their own bit of uses here and there. But other than that, these are pretty good changes and I do like it. Let's get into the paid content. The heist itself is incredibly good. I'm not going to talk about the lore because I don't really care about it. But both Loud and Stealth for the heist is actually genuinely pretty good, but I prefer Loud because you're spending most of your time running around and grabbing objectives and as well as drilling the door open to get Houston out. Yes, the heist is named Houston Breakout, not Land of the Free, which is kinda interesting, but I'm not really going to say much. But the heist itself is very fun because it is very chaotic and very intense because cops spawn from every single direction you can think of. The heist is very open, but at the same time very tight because sure, the map is very big and open, but there's a lot of cover for you to maneuver around, and there's not been any situation where I ask myself, man, I cannot hide or I cannot take cover. And there's a lot of RNG to this one because I don't want to spoil a few things because I think it's best for you to experience this heist alone, but when you're about to escape or when Houston has successfully been extracted, there are 2 ways you can actually finish this heist. You can either get the evidence for yourself and steal them, or you can either destroy them. Because there are 2 types of evidences. There's physical evidence and there's digital evidence. Digital evidence are secured in servers, and you can either grab an EMP and destroy them entirely and escape, or actually scan them and secure them for additional loot. And the same thing goes with the physical. Hello, it's me from the future. So, the way the physical evidence exactly works is, unlike the server room where you can just simply deactivate everything with a single EMP, with this one you have to find the right shelf in order to be able to burn it, because once you're inside the evidence room, you will begin to see a lot of shelves and have letters on them. And there is also a board that showcases which shelf has Houston's case. If you burn the wrong one, you must scan the Houston's case, grab it, and secure it. Or you can just find the right one and burn it and pretty much just escape instantly. So there it is. The only problem I can really say about the 2 heists they released in this update is the payout is not really particularly that great, but who really cares about payment when getting money is not really that much a big of an issue. But they do give you a lot of XP, so that's a very good thing. How are the weapons? The weapons are incredibly good. So let's talk about them. The FAMAS is an incredibly well-rounded weapon that is able to serve you really well. It is able to kill enemies with 1 burst shot. Oh, and I forgot to mention that all of these weapons are shot in burst. None of them can be transferred into single or full auto. They're only burst. So, the FAMAS is able to kill both heavy and light units with a single burst shot, which I think is actually incredibly good. The only downside I can really think of the FAMAS is the fact that you can't really hold down the mouse to continue the burst fire, you have to tap it yourself. And it is somewhat weak against like long range, but that's pretty normal, honestly. And it does have some bit of horizontal recoil here and there, but that's pretty much manageable. Just get some modifications and you're good to go. The damage, everything about the FAMAS is pretty good, the reload is nice, the sound effects are pretty nice, the animation team's really cooked with this one. The pistol is also a very good weapon because against light units it is very effective as it's able to shred them extremely quickly, but it struggles heavily against heavy units. Once the heavy units start spawning in, this weapon is going to really struggle a lot, but it's not really particularly that bad. It can help you against heavies, but they're not really particularly that great. It also shreds through bulldozers' visors very quickly. The same thing can be said about the shotgun. It's pretty much the auto shotgun we got from Syntax Error, but sort of different. You see, the difference between them is that this shotgun that we got, the burst one, is able to kill enemies extremely quickly, but only when they're tied up, or only when they're grouped up together. Because there's a very slow delay after every burst shot, and unlike the auto shotgun where you're able to just continuously spam it, the way I see the burst shotgun is it's better than when enemies are grouped up together because it is able to consistently one-shot enemies more frequently than the auto shotgun we have from Syntax Error, both close and mid-range. So the way I see it is, this shotgun is amazing for enemies that are like piled up together, and the auto shotgun is more for when enemies are widened up because the slow delay after every shot is a little bit annoying from time to time, but it's not really particularly that bad. So what do I think of the outfits? The outfits are genuinely really good. They cooked with this one. And I am someone that doesn't really care about cosmetics, but they really cooked really well with this one, except for the judge's outfit, which is not really particularly special. But other than that, the masks, the gloves, and as well as the suits are really good, and they look absolutely amazing. There's really not much else to really say about it. The only complaint I can really say about the bundle is that the heist can be a little bit annoying from time to time when you first play it because you're going to be spending a lot of your time running around and doing objectives. At least you're not getting the circle objectives, so that's pretty good. But that's really the only complaint I have, but I guess that's just me because I wear the heaviest armor in the game, but again, that could just be me. Another problem I can say is that Houston's not really that impactful in this heist because he's just kind of there, which is kind of sad, but I was kind of hoping like he would do more, but it kind of makes sense because he did mess up his hand when he was fighting the judge, when he fucking did a foxy jump scare on him, but you know, I'm not going to say much. But other than that, the heist is really good. It's a 9 out of 10, and there's really not much else to say. The weapons are absolutely phenomenal, and they're very good, and I can see them be used consistently by a lot of players. It's another 9 out of 10. The only complaint I can really say is that I can't really hold down my mouse button in order to continue the burst fire, but that could just be me. The outfit is also pretty good. So what would I give an overall rating of the heist itself and as well as the entirety of the bundle? It's a definite 8 out of 10, or 9 out of 10 in my opinion. I do 100% recommend the heist and as well as the weapon pack, but outfit is sort of... it's up to you if you want it. But in my opinion, this update is probably one of the best updates that it came into PayDay 3. Because we're getting 2 heists, a lot of weapons, and as well as a new equipment, and as well as some new skills, which are okay. Of course, there's been some nerfs that I feel like a lot of people are going to be angry, but that's pretty much normal, and I can't really say much about it. But other than that, I think the update is incredibly good. The heist, the weapons, and as well as the outfits are incredibly good and look amazing. And another thing to mention is that the free content is also pretty good. The Diamond District is also extremely good, and it's very fun to play. And the free weapon that they gave out is also really good. So there's really not much else to really say other than it's very good. I can't really think of any complaints other than the servers, but that's normal, honestly. Do I really need to say anything about the servers? Probably not. But other than that, I can't really say much. Of course, there's been some bugs here and there where the audio sometimes stutters and sometimes it cuts off, but that's not a big deal, honestly. I haven't really experienced any sort of like game-breaking bugs here and there, so overall, it's an amazing update. They definitely cooked with this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it feels a little bit like less energetic than the previous videos because I don't want to scream at the top of my lungs and wake up my family, so I sort of hope you understand that. But other than that, I can't really say anything else besides thank you. Now if you excuse me, I'm going to go to sleep. Bye bye.